I want to start tonight with the man who allowed 0 goals to David Pastrnak and company. It is Sam Ersson with the shutout, Kelly Hinkle. I can say it now,
You can
right?
say it now.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I was very impressed with Ayers tonight.
Great.
Square to a lot of shooters, and we had a super chat I missed during the watch along.
Vesna winner, Samuel Ersson.
Our good pal.
Sure.
Good
Why
pal,
not, JH?
Good,
Why not?
Good friend of the show, JH.
Listen, who says no?
Yeah, I mean, start from here. You know,
Exactly.
The first 9 games
Build on
didn't
it.
count. We are a ninth of the way through the season now. Let's go.
I did the math. He is now up to, if you round it, which I believe you would have to do, it comes out to like 88953. So actually, he's at 890.
There you go.
He's at 890 save percentage.
Yeah, 890. That's like league average at this point. Now,
It's not that much lower than league
it really
average.
isn't. And Ersson, we all said during pregame, like, yeah, he's played better than his numbers, but his numbers are so bad
Yeah, they're not great.
that even if you bump him a little for how bad the defense has been, it's not as if he's been very good.
Yeah, agreed.
Tonight he was very good.
was
He
very
was
good.
very good. Yeah. There's no getting around it. He looked great.
Yeah, I was definitely happy with what we got out of Sam Ersson. And now the question, how many more, like, tonight Kolosov's the backup. They play again in normal day off, and then they're back on Thursday for the Halloween game against the Blues. Do you ride with Ersson? Do you try to keep him a little more rested?
No, I ride with Ersson.
Okay.
I absolutely ride with Ersson. He had such a good game. And it's not like it's a back-to-back. He's got the day off. They're not practicing at all tomorrow. Yeah, there's some travel, but Boston.
It's not exactly.
too far.
Yeah.
They don't practice tomorrow. They're at home against the Blues, a team that I believe
Is
last
losing
I
8-1?
checked was losing 8-1 to the Ottawa Senators tonight. So
Powerhouse Ottawa Senators.
powerhouse Ottawa Senators.
They do have the best player in the league.
No, I think it's a no-brainer. You go with Ersson for Thursday. The only way you don't is if there is some sort of like, we promised Kolosov he was going to get into X number of games before this date type of thing.
That's if the October deadline is like hard and fast. It was at one point reported like they have through October. That is the 31st on.
I think
I don't know.
I would have to believe that Alexei Kolosov's camp is not so delusional to think that not only can he demand to be an NHL goalie right off the jump, but can demand to be an NHL starting goalie off the jump. I would hope they wouldn't go that far.
No.
That would be truly
That
insane.
would be something else.
If they do go with Ersson, though, and Kolosov is dressed, maybe that's just another way to placate him. Like, you're earning the NHL salary, you're up here, you're with the team, and not only are you with the team, you're on the bench. Like, you're actually dressed. Like, you're here.
If Ersson were to struggle, you get in the game.
Are we placating him, or is Fedotov just
Oh,
crap?
no. I'm just trying to think of it from his perspective.
Yes, yeah.
Like, and
What
Fedotov has been so bad
Yeah.
that it makes sense.
All I'm saying is that the only way to me it makes sense for you not to go with Ersson on Thursday is if you promise Kolosov another start.
Fair enough.
Which I think would be insane.
That
to
would be
do.
insane, yes.
Because Sam Ersson finally has put it back together. He looked like the same guy from that great start on opening night against the Canucks.
Yes,
Why not ride him? See if you can do it again.
That's how it
against a
works.
not that great team.
absolutely.
I did. It was funny. I was speaking of the Blues. We'll get back to the Flyers, but it's just very funny to me on 32 Thoughts this week. You know how no one, you're not allowed to offer sheet. There's this unspoken agreement.
Apparently now you are.
There's this thought of, well, if the Blues do well this year, maybe it's something we should copycat.
Ooh.
It's like, or maybe you should always pursue really good players.
Yeah, right.
Like Philip Broberg, I think, is before tonight 7 points in 9 games. Like, I don't know, maybe anyone could have had him. But that's a conversation for pregame on Thursday for the Blues game on Halloween. Right now, we are talking about a shutout victory for Sam Ersson and the Flyers. Ersson absolutely stood tall tonight. He was the man. No goals allowed. We've said, like, yeah, he's been maybe better than his numbers, but if you're going to be a number one, which is what we're finding out about Ersson this year, that's the point of his season.
Yeah.
Can we count on you for 50-plus starts a year?
Exactly. That is the point.
You can't give up, as Charlie has said, one leaky goal a game. Like, you can't average, like, oh, he had a nice night, but that one, Like, you have to really cut down on those. He stopped the 50-50 pucks tonight, and he didn't give up anything bad en route to giving up nothing. I think this is a step in the right direction, but I think we got to give some props to the defense as well.
No, I think this was a game where both things got better. Ersson got better in the sense that he made some big saves. He did. He had a good game. He settled things down, especially in the early going. I thought he made some big stops then. He made a couple. There was that extended 5-on-3 where he came up real big, made a big stop on Pasternak. He was good. By the same token, there really weren't that many breakdowns leading to high-quality scoring chances. Like, we talked about the one game where Ersson gives up 2 shorthanded breakaway goals. And you're like, okay, awful that you give up 2 shorthanded breakaways in one period to a team that had 3 shorthanded goals the entire season last year. That's bad. But a breakaway isn't guaranteed to be a goal. You know, goalies stop breakaways all the time.
It happens.
Like, the Flyers in shootouts before the last couple of years basically got stopped every single time because they stunk at it. But it's also because breakaways are stoppable. Goalies stop them a lot. Ersson was not getting those saves. So what happened in this game was, number one, Ersson was making all of the low and mid-danger saves and a couple legitimately tough ones. But the Flyers defense and the Flyers team, the skaters, were not giving up those shorthanded breakaways. They weren't giving up those dramatic breakdowns that forced Ersson to make the big momentum-changing stop. He didn't have to make that many momentum-changing stops because the Flyers weren't giving up big opportunities all that often.
Now, Boston isn't exactly the powerhouse they've been the last few years and really like the last 10-plus years.
Yeah.
But it is a talented team. They do have good players. And to hold them to only 23 shots on goal, this is something I've been harping on. Not only has the Flyers' shot volume disappeared, they just seem to be giving up so many more shots. Shot suppression. I've brought this up so many times. Last year, the only team that gave up more shots on goal a night was Carolina. And their whole thing is, we have the puck.
Right.
We shoot a lot. You never do. Flyers were second in shot suppression last year. 23 tonight for the Boston Bruins. That is a recipe for success for this team. Blocking as many shots as they did, limiting the opportunities in close, keeping them to the outside. Does it feel as if now, 10 games into the season, the structure is starting to come back around that was so severely missing?
God, I hope so.
Yeah, really.
Because, like, this was not a fun game to watch overall. It was a pretty ugly game.
I'm glad I had you guys to BS about
it. It was a pretty ugly game. But
maybe that's what made it
But
fun.
it was ugly, not in the sloppy and mistake-prone, oh, God, the Flyers are tripping over themselves, ugly the way some of the early season games were. It was ugly in the sense that it was just a structure, defense, shot blocking, get in lanes kind of game. And while I don't think the Flyers have designs on that being the way they play every game the rest of the year, I think they needed a game like this. They needed a game to show that they have the structure.
We remember who we are.
Yes, yes.
But I need to see them string it together. Like, I need to see this continue on Thursday because I do feel like it's early in the season, but we've seen a lot of games where it looks like they're starting to put something together,
here,
and then immediately the next game it's just like full-on regression to nonsense.
No, you put up 7 on the Wild, who hadn't lost in regulation, and then you get killed by Montreal.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Caden Primo all of a sudden looks like Carey Price out there, and it's like, well, why? They absolutely need to string some of this together, but it is nice to see a game where I need them now to turn some of this good defense like they did last year into the offense.
Right.
Like all these, 34, 39, whatever it was, blocked shots, would like to see more than 1 or 2 of them result in a rush chance.
Totally agree with you, but you needed that foundation.
Yes, you need to make the defensive plays before you turn the defensive plays into offense. Yeah, and that's what we saw tonight. Couturier did have the opportunity on the break, and Farabee, the empty netter, he makes just a good defensive play in the neutral zone.
Really
keeps his body angled to take away one side, has a stick in the lane to take away the other passing angle, gets his stick on it, puts the empty netter in to ice it with like 20 seconds left. That's Flyers hockey. That's how they win, is basically turning games into rock fights.
Yep.
And out of those rock fights, they have a couple of breakaways, and you're like, that was fun.
Yeah, right.
But, like, this is kind of who they are. It's just now the offense needs to come around as well.
like the mayor.